Students, today we will discuss the acid value of fatty material or oil sample. Okay. What is the aim of today's practical? To determine acid value of given sample of oil. Okay. References for that, from where we have uh, collected the data, that is procedure, references, principles, theory, observations, standard value for acid value. The references are Indian Pharmacopoeia, Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Controller of Communication 1996, Volume 2, page number 850. Okay, you can refer recent edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia. Okay, because this pharmacopoeia is published every year, so you can get the recent data from the recent edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia. Then second one is the experimental pharmaceutical chemistry practical manual by Anis Siddiqui, Nirali Prakashan, page number 37. So you can refer the Ogle's practical book. Okay, also you can refer Bucket and Stanley, where procedures are given, how to perform, how to measure the readings, how to record the reading, how to calculate. These are the information are mentioned in the practical books. Okay, then requirement for today's practical is in the apparatus analytical balance, that also needed to measure the your sample quantity or for preparation of different molarity solvent, different sample weighing purpose you required analytical balance. Then burette for you have to titrate this particular sample. Okay, then pipette you have to take some some amount, some liquid, 4 ml, 5 ml or whatever. So that purpose you required pipette. Then conical flask, round bottom flask, reflex condenser. This is for your for doing the refluxing of your sample. Okay, then chemicals, castor oil is nothing but your sample. For castor oil you have to measure acid value. Okay, then 0.1 molar KOH. How to prepare the 0.1 molar KOH? When this will completed a whole discussion of this experiment, I will give you some assignment. In that you should prepare this, you should mention the procedure for how to prepare the 0.1 molar KOH, then 95% ethanolic ether, then phenolphthalein as an indicator. These are the chemicals you require during the practicals. Okay, then theory. Okay, in the theory, quality control constants like acid value, saponification value, iodine value, which indicate the purity of fat or oils. Okay, this is means acid value is nothing but your quality control parameter of your fat or oil. Okay, means how it act as a quality control parameter, like actually in different standard books, like you can say Indian Pharmacopoeia. In Indian Pharmacopoeia, there is given the standard value of acid value. Standard value means if the value, for example, we can say suppose 100 and 120, in between 100 and 120, then your sample is pure. Okay, means your sample is not rancidified, or your sample is not degraded, we can say that. Okay, from that basis, means after evaluating this sample or after analyzing the acid value, you can conclude that. What conclude that? You can conclude your sample is pure or impure. Okay, means if the value deviate from 100 to 120, then we can say that your sample is degraded or your sample get rancidified. Okay, from this basis you can say that the purity of your sample. Okay, these are specific for the pure sample of fat or oil Deviation indicate presence of impurity in fat or oil, or indicate that fat is stored under improper condition. Means if your fat or oil sample is stored in improper condition, like in the sun rays, under sun rays, or near to heat, then what happen? Then your sample get rancidified. Okay. So actually in our medicine or any formulation or any drug, uh, you can also see that in your any label of your medicine bottle or any tablets, there is mentioned always what mention, storage condition. Okay. Means store in clean and dry place, or store in refrigerator. Why they are mentioned particular storage condition? Because in that particular storage condition your sample remain pure, or sample does not lose the purity. Okay. If the we can deviate that storage condition, then what will happen? Then your sample get degraded, or in the your sample impurity gets generated. So avoid this. In particular in any formulation or any medicine, there is mentioned storage condition. Okay. Means this is very important to maintain, or to keep your sample in proper storage condition. This is the theory behind the acid value. Means in the acid value, why it is important to measure? Because we should conclude from the acid value basis your sample is impure or pure. Then acid value measure of carboxylic acid group present in the fat, and also gives idea about the amount of unesterified free fatty acid present in the fat or oil. High acid value is indicative of state of oil, or the improper storage of fat. That is quality of given fat or oil. It is given idea about rancidity of oil or fat. Means what is mentioned here? Here it is mentioned that the means fatty acid, you look at the structure of fatty acids. Means you actually fatty acid, in the fatty acid there is a carboxylic acid. Okay. This carboxylic acid is get esterified. Then this esterified value is measured. Okay. If this value is very high, in that case we say that this sample is impure, or this sample may be stored at improper condition. Okay. This is the theory behind the acid value. Then we will see the principle of this acid value. Acid value is defined as number of milligram of KOH required to neutralize free fatty acid in 1 gram of oil or fat. This is the definition of acid value. What it is? Acid value is defined as number of milligram of KOH required to neutralize free fatty acid in 1 gram of oil or fat. Means in this case we have to titrate your particular sample, nothing but fat or oil. In this case we can say that your castor oil. Means after particular procedure we have to titrate this particular sample with KOH, 0.1 molar KOH. Okay. This is one type of neutralization reaction. Okay. Then this will give you idea about your acid value. Okay. The acid number is a measure of the number of carboxylic acid group in a chemical compound such as a fatty acid or in mixture of compounds. Means this is nothing but the measure of your carboxylic acid in presence of where? In presence in the your fatty acid sample. Yeah. What is fatty acid is? What is the nature of fatty acid? acidic nature because it contains carboxylic acid in that structure. Means carboxylic acid is a functional group. Carboxylic acid is a acid. Okay, what is the KOH? KOH. OH means nothing but your base. Means here what happens, your fatty acid, okay, it neutralized with in presence of 0.1 molar KOH. KOH is nothing but your base. Okay, then such as in a typical procedure, a known amount of sample dissolved in an organic solvent and titrated with a solution of potassium hydroxide of known concentration using phenolphthalein as an indicator. Yeah, actually here we know this sample size. Sample size is nothing but your sample weight. What is the weight? That is 1. We can say 1 gram. Okay, the acid number is used to quantify the acidity of substance. Okay, acid number is nothing but to quantify the acidity of that substance. It means more the acidity, more the value, and what is the indication? Means your sample is maybe stored in improper condition or get rancidified. Okay, means just you have to titrate this amount of mixture. Means your castor oil, after particular procedure we have to titrate this mixture with 0.1 molar KOH using phenolphthalein as an indicator. Okay, the acid number is used to quantify the acidity of substance. It is the quantity of waste expressed in milligrams of potassium hydroxide that is required to neutralize the acidic constituents in 1 gram of sample. As oil fats rancify, triglycerides are converted into fatty acids and glycerols. Means after means this sample if get rancidified, that is converted into, means triglycerides are converted into acid, into fatty acid or glycerol, causing an increase in acidic number. High acid value is expected in rancidity fat or oil sample. Mean in your particular fatty structure of fats or in triglyceride, what is the functional group? There is a functional group is always ester. Okay, after that it get converted, means if the rancidity is occur, then it may be converted into triglyceride, okay, or fatty acid. Fatty acid means is nothing but the your carboxylic acid. Okay, causing an increase in acid number. High acid value is expected in rancid fat or oil sample. Means if there is a high value, maybe there are chances of rancidification of your fat or sample. Okay, then we will see the procedure. Procedure for what is the procedure? First step is dissolve accurately weighed quantity of substance 5 gram being examined in a mixture of equal volume of 95% ethanol ether, that is 25 ml. Means what is the first step? You have to take 5 gram sample. Don't get confused 1 gram and 5 gram. This is the particular procedure which is given for 5 gram. You can convert it 1 gram also. Means if for 5 gram sample you have to take how much? 25 ml 95% ethanol ether. So what is for 1 gram? Means if the sample is 1 gram, then we have to take 95% ethanol ether. How much? 5 ml. This is the basic conversion you can take, which is your possible. Means first step we have to take sample, then in equal volume of 95% ethanolic ether, means ethanolic ether 25 ml means 12.5 ml ethanol, 12.5 ml ether. This is nothing but the ethanolic ether, which is 95%. Okay, then next second step 2, if the sample does not dissolve in cold solvent, connect the flask with reflux condenser and heat slowly with frequent shaking until the sample dissolves in ethanolic ether. Means if the sample is not dissolves in the solvent, which solvent? 95% ethanolic ether. Okay, then you have to connect the assembly to the reflux condenser. In that reflux condenser you have to heat the sample solution slowly. Okay, what is the next? Then add 2 drop of phenolphthalein solution and titrate with 0.1 molar KOH solution until the solution remains faintly pink after shaking for 30 seconds. Then after dissolving this complete sample in the solvent, then you have to take that RBF. Okay, in the RBF you have to add 2 drop of phenolphthalein indicator, and this solution should titrate with 0.1 molar KOH solution until the your solution, that is which is contained in the RBF, that becomes pink color. And record your observation and calculate the acid value. Record your observation means you have to take the reading how much 0.1 molar KOH consumed for getting that pink color. Then we will see the observation table. In the observation, first column for weight of sample means if you are taking 5 gram, you have to mention 5 gram. If you are taking 1 gram, you have to mention 1 gram. Then amount of KOH, initial and final. Initial means at the time of taking your observation. For example, if there is a 50 ml burette, then you have to mention the initial value is what is 50 ml. Then final is if final is 35 means after 30 at in the burette at 35 ml point you getting pink color, then you have to mention final is 35. And total KOH means difference between final and initial amount of KOH consumed to getting pink color. For example, difference, for example 50 minus 35, then you get 15. Okay, 15 is nothing but you are reading in ml. Then what is the formula for calculation? Acid value is equal to 5.61. 5.61 is standard value into n, small n, divided by W, capital W. N is nothing but volume of 0.1 molar KOH. That is, we suppose in this case we say that 15 means 5.61 into 15 divided by weight of sample in gram. For example, we can say that 5 means 5.61 into 15 divided by 5 is nothing but your acid value. Okay, then what is the result? Acid value of given sample oil is means after the calculation of your reading and all, then you get the acid value of your sample. Which sample? Castor oil. Okay, conclusion: given castor oil sample does not or does complies IP limit for acid value. Means before conclusion, you should know the standard value for castor oil. Standard value of what? Acid value. Standard acid value for your castor oil. Then we can say that means if the sample your value is in between the standard, suppose we can say 100 and 120, you should first search the standard value of castor oil, standard value of acid. Then we can say that if that test passes, then we can say that it given sample is complies with the IP limit for acid value. If it deviate, then we can say that given castor oil sample does not complies IP limit for acid value. Okay, before ending this particular experiment, you take some assignment. First question first for this experiment: write down physical and chemical properties of castor oil, including its structure, chemical structure. This is first assignment. Next point is how to prepare 0.1 molar KOH. How to prepare 0.1 molar KOH. Third question is what is the standard acid value for castor oil? What is the standard value? What is the standard value, acid value for your castor oil? This is 3 questions you have to complete, you have to answers for this experiment. Before that, you should search or you can refer IP Indian Pharmacopoeia standard value for this castor oil. Okay, means you should refer IP or any other books. Then we will conclude that today's practical is over.